Hello punters, I hope you're well, I hope you're having a good day. I guess that's going to be the last time I say that because, I have quit mountain biking. I don't have any bikes, they've all gone. My last ride was filming for the movie, which was back in April. For those that have just clicked on this to get the quick answer, the long story short is, I guess I've just kind of moved on from mountain biking in my life. Like many people have various hobbies and interests, like this is me moving on and just doing something else because I don't get any enjoyment out of the thing that I used to. Of course, it's a little bit deeper than that because not only is my hobby, what I enjoy doing, but it's like how I earn a living and how I got to where I am today. So there needs to be probably a bit more explanation. And anyone that's watching past this section wants to hear it. So I'm doing this now before the movie gets finished and put out because I didn't want this to be the last video on the channel. Like I've put a lot of effort into filming this thing with Scott and all the other people involved. And like that, I want that project to be the last thing on the channel. I mean, it's definitely going to be the last biking, who knows? Like, I'm going to say 99% sure that will be the last video on the channel. So the rest of this video is going to include a timeline of kind of what started and what triggered this kind of, falling out of love with mountain biking as a passion. Then I'm going to tell you kind of some ins and outs of what it's like being a professional mountain bike YouTuber, the good things, and I'm going to get into all the bad things as well. And then I will share some opinions that I have that have really affected my decision and why I fundamentally just don't want to be a part of mountain biking anymore. So probably part way through 2021, i.e. last year, I really started to kind of not want to go mountain biking anymore. I'm not going to spend all my time talking about the other passion that I got into, but it really started to give me some perspective when I thought, well, hey, I want to go and do this thing instead of mountain biking. So that was kind of very much weighing on my mind. And then we started filming the movie and I was really into it. I was riding a lot and most of the time I was actually having a good time. And then I got in the van and I went down to the States and, that kind of, hey, I don't think I want to go mountain biking today really took hold because, all I wanted to do was anything but go biking. Then I got to the Sedona Festival that was in November, and I was so happy to meet everyone, like all my buds that I've met through doing this. And I didn't really enjoy the mountain biking so much, but I loved the camaraderie and everything. And then when I started traveling around, especially when I went to Moab and I made the video where I was gonna go mountain biking in Moab every day for 5 days, I think it was something like that. That was me actually grinding on going mountain biking. And that's what it felt like. It wasn't like, it's going to be very easy for someone to look at this and go, oh, he turned his passion, his hobby, he turned it into a job and now that's why he doesn't enjoy it. But that's just not true because I've been working in and around mountain biking since 2011. So nothing's really changed in that regard. I want this to be very clear because I know there's already going to be comments down below saying, oh, that's why, turned his hobby into a job, now he doesn't like it. And someone has already commented that 100%. But I will, live and die on this hill. It's not because I turned my hobby into a job. That's not what it is. But then I was in Grand Junction and I wanted to go and make a video with Shane, better known as the Crashing Dad, down a trail called the Ribbon, which I've done before, but I really wanted to put some effort into it, put the Skydio up and get some great GoPro footage and be like, okay, we're gonna come back to this trail and everything. But the whole time we were riding, I just didn't want to ride. I wanted to make a video. I wanted to, capture something cool. but I didn't want to do the riding. And that was kind of like a real big thing. Like there's some risks. Like there's this like really sketchy feature called the toilet bowl, like a rock roll sandy thing. We got to that point and I just went, yeah, I don't want to do this. It's not going to get me anything. Like the whole reason I should be there, there's just nothing. So that video has never come out, even though I tried to edit it, and I was just like, no, because this is, if I made this video and like it's like, hey, look how stoked I am, I'm biking, isn't biking great? It's like, it's just, it would have been a lie. And that's not who I am. You know, if you've watched my videos for a long time, which I'm sure you have, because that's how you've got so far into this video so far, is that I'll put things, you know, in the videos that are really quite embarrassing and make me look bad, because like that's just how it is, and that's being, you know, that's telling the truth. And then I went to Southern California and tried to do riding around there, and I was just like, this is terrible. Like I didn't enjoy this at all. Like these trails aren't fun. Like, you know, the place I live is like the most fun. I don't get it. And it was very confusing because I was around people that were having a great time and really enjoying it. And I just kind of felt like, well, why are they having a good time and why am I not? And again, we're not filming, we're not doing anything there. Yeah, it's kind of, it's hard to explain because it's just so like cut and dry and black and white. And again, it's like, there'll be like the burnout things and everything, and oh, you did it too much. And it's like, well, no, I do a lot of things too much and I still enjoy it, and I could do it 7 days in a row. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it could be, but it just seems, I don't want to use that term because it just seems so overdone and almost like it became like a social media trend. And I think that's why I'm pushing against it. When the fundamental thing was, it just felt like I'd got to the end of what I could do on mountain biking. So then after I was in SoCal, I went to the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival again, because they had another one in February. Again, I liked the camaraderie, I liked hanging out with everyone. That was fun. This was really kind of the final thing. We went and rode Highline, which is rated as a double black around there. It's a very technical trail. We went up as a group, and you know, there are a lot of people riding it that day as well. You know, I think it was like Saturday of the festival or something. But we're going down the trail, and all around me, I just see people really squeaking it and getting through things by the skin of their teeth. And there was definitely one point where I told someone that they shouldn't do something because there's no way that they were anywhere near in control of their bike. And, you know, I was the only person doing it. And that person then rode the feature, and oh my God, it was just like, just got through it so on the edge. Oh God, like they could have been seriously hurt, like marginally. They were right on that line. And it was that point that I did not want to be there anymore. I did not want to be part of it. I was just like, I don't understand what's happening here. I've got to get off. So I basically just rode off by myself, left the group. And as I was going down the trail, I was just trying to get out of there as fast as possible. And I saw people really squeaking everything, like just getting through with their wheels on the ground and not crashing. And there were some people crashing as well. And all around them, just people saying like, you've got this, you can do this, come on. It's like, and I get it. I get the encouragement, but I just couldn't fathom what would happen if something went wrong. You know, like how many people there had an action plan? I definitely didn't have an action plan. So I kind of had a panic attack, really. Like I got to the bottom and I had like insane amounts of anxiety. Like my breathing was going, you know, not because I've been doing athletic thing, like it wasn't right. I went straight home and just kind of sat on my laptop watching Netflix. And that was the point where I truly felt like mountain biking wasn't adding anything to my life. It wasn't making it better. And I couldn't be advocating for people to go and do it. It was that moment where I really just kind of told myself, yeah, this is kind of it. And then I started imagining, okay, what would a life without mountain biking or cycling look like? And I only kind of saw enjoyment and a happy life. And then like a couple of other things happened. The airline lost my golf clubs and I just couldn't take it. And I completely overreacted to the situation. That's not been the only time that that's happened. And, when I got back from the road trip to Canada, that's when I went and looked in, to finding out what was going on and like, why am I the way I am? But then I got diagnosed with ADHD, which to some people might be, oh yeah, so obvious. How did you not notice that? And after that diagnosis and starting medication for it, my life has been completely different. Like I am like the easy thing to say is that I feel very much like a better person and a better version of myself, because like everything that I, let's say, couldn't handle, or everything that I was doing before, or even things from my childhood, right? Like when I was younger, I was pretty intelligent, but would often get called lazy, or not living up to where I could be, because I was clever, therefore I should be let's say getting top grades and everything like that. That's like quite a common story with when you get it figured out. Someone has described it as putting glasses on for the first time. Well, I don't have glasses. I can completely understand that. Like the world was very blurry and out of focus and didn't really make a lot of sense. And now all of a sudden, I can sit there and have a conversation with someone and not constantly feel like they don't actually want to be around me. It's like, yeah, it's not as simple as not being able to pay attention to something. It's much bigger than that. And another part of it is like you're constantly like masking, I guess it's called, where you're trying to fit in with everyone else. And I think that's possibly what I was doing with mountain biking. Is like, okay, look, I found like this group, this thing that is like a collective, and I can get in that. And then if I just do the mountain biking, then I can, be part of a group. And I've met some of my best ever friends through it, right? Like lifelong friends, to be very clear that I'm incredibly grateful for that. Getting that diagnosis was, as I said, it was life-changing. And now I've been able to do so much more than I was doing before, quite honestly. But I don't want to dwell on this part because I could spend 3 hours, right? But this was like a big thing. So I'm going to do a quick bit about people I'd like to thank, because I want to express in this video as well that I am very grateful. I've had a pretty amazing life for the past 4 years, a very privileged existence, being able to ride bikes and make videos for a living. I've got things like my house, and I've got a sick van that I can travel anywhere, and I've been able to do that, and very much been on my own, my own plan for a very long time. Like I've achieved goals like getting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube in a niche area. It's taught me a lot of skills like videoing and making videos on YouTube that has really made me see like who am I in terms of what do I want to be a professional at. And yeah, it's making videos. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have mountain biking in my life. So I am going to talk about like all the bad things and the other opinions on mountain biking as a culture. But the first person to thank is Brian from BKXC. If it wasn't for my first collaboration with him and meeting him and just his way of, hey, I'm now gonna make videos of me mountain biking and that is gonna be my job. He very much paved the way for everyone else to do that. He didn't help me for his own agenda or anything. I said, hey, let's make some videos together. And he went, yeah, sounds good. So yeah, if it wasn't for him, many of us that do it full time wouldn't be doing it. I'm pretty confident. Because the next person is Seth. You know, if I hadn't seen his video, I can't remember what it was, probably like a how to bunny hop video that had 250,000 views while I was working at Pink Bike that day. And when I turned around to everyone and said, does anyone know who this person is that's getting more views than like every shreddit that is appearing on the homepage? Shouldn't we be doing, like, isn't this important? No one agreed with me. I actually then met Seth and Brian in person. Pure coincidence, they were doing a trip to Whistler. And I kind of really felt at that point like, hey, I actually feel like I have a lot in common with these guys. And that probably is what started off, you know, creating a YouTube channel for Pink Bike, but then eventually just kind of going off and doing it by myself. And then the other people within like the YouTube universe, I want to thank Eric, BCPOV, Nick from VanCan, Josh, Daily MTB Rider, Bobo, of course. Literally, look, I have a tattoo on my arm and he has the same one. It's nuts. Shane, the crashing dad. Old biker, Robert, he knows why I have the reason to thank him. Then Joe, Trail features Joe for just numerous conversations and whatever. Not Colorado Kid Joe, who I would love to thank, but in no way has he helped me at all with my bike channel. However, he is crushing it, and he is someone that you should really be following if you're not following him. Colorado Kid. Then there's like the pro riders like Casper, Tracy, Remy Govan, to be very specific. Miranda Miller and Jesse Melamed. Whenever I've asked them, they've helped. Then of course, video with Tracy was massive and was a huge reason I have such a big following. I also want to thank Alan and Brad, who now run Off-Grid Customs. They helped build my van. Really, they took the biggest gamble with it. Luckily, it's paid off with those videos and me just sitting there, filming them, and kind of making 7 videos or whatever it was out of that 5-month process. But if you are looking for a van, or you're thinking about it, then there is a link right at the top in the description below to their website. But they're doing pretty good, just FYI. And of course, anyone else that's helped me make videos. This is not a huge thank you list for everyone. So if you feel like I haven't mentioned you, call me and I will thank you in person. You know, a lot of people will say, you know, you don't owe anyone, like why even make this video? You don't owe anyone anything. But I do, because if people didn't watch my videos, then I wouldn't have, you know, this basically, and this being my entire life. So thank you for all the nice comments and everything like that. Like, as much as I probably didn't agree with a single nice comment, because I'm very self-deprecating and I probably didn't believe it. You know, on reflection, I do appreciate all the nice things that anyone's ever said. But on that note, I'd also like to go into the bad things. The bad things about doing this for a living for me. Again, I don't want this to be the reaction that I have turned my hobby into a job. And I'm sure there are still people saying, no, like, come on, please. This is the reason why you hate mountain biking now. It's just not. And this is gonna really unveil, you know, all the feelings and everything that I've developed over the last probably couple years actually. But let me tell you about the bad things that have happened. And the worst one was waking up one day to find a very much arranged pile of mud mixed with glass and gasoline laid out on my porch. And then it was also sprayed all the way down the step. Now this didn't happen to anyone else that I live around. And when the police came, they had never seen anything like it. And actually it was them that attributed it to it being because of what I do for a living. I didn't enjoy that. That was not fun. And then pair that with all the hate comments and, you know, the negativity, or, you know, people saying I'm a piece of shit and there's no way I deserve anything because of my bike riding skill. I do accept that that is part of doing things on the internet, it doesn't make it any less worse than it actually is and makes you feel. But then there are things like, you know, there was a meme that I was included in, and it was basically about YouTubers blowing up trails and ruining everything. And the irony of it all was that the image that they took was from me leading a group ride on a night for Sorka, the Trail Association, where we were raising money. And I've also, like, you know, donated thousands to my local network. I've gone and built trails and all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? And it's really much like the core of mountain biking that ruins it. And it's probably happened in other sports, but in mountain biking, it just seems to be a lot more prevalent and impactful. I've never had someone actually out on the trails come and say something directly to my face, at least that I can remember. But there have been many times where I felt like the animosity, and I've probably overheard something, you know, over there. And again, I get it. It comes with doing this and putting myself out there. But again, it doesn't make it any easier. And it's not only that, but it's when you kind of factor in the professional side of it. And it still, to this day, blows my mind how many people in the bike industry just don't see any value or attribute any of the impact that everyone that makes, you know, it could be like the smallest channel to a Seth channel, right? I don't think there are many things that have grown mountain biking, apart from, you know, what happened a couple of years ago, and really kind of pushed it as much as the community of YouTube creators. I really don't. And yet, the biking industry just doesn't value it. And it just blows my mind how there are all these people like actually connecting and truly growing the sport, and yet the bike industry isn't investing in that side of things. Now, what I will say, and in the thanks that I forgot, is that, you know, these last 3 sponsors that I had, Giant, Kenda, and Shimano, like I told them a while ago, okay, I've been off contract for a while. I was very upfront with them and told them, probably in a much quicker phone call than I've done making this video, that yeah, it's just not something that I can be a part of and therefore promote, because I don't believe in it, and that would be lying, which I've already said. But it just kind of baffles me, the struggle of getting, you know, partners. Call it advertising, right? Don't call it sponsorship, because some people seem to really hate that word, and it's like, oh, you don't deserve this, you're not good enough on a bike. How is that world not seeing what's actually gonna shift and be good? Like, there are some brands that are doing really well from YouTube, and you can see it if you go to a bike festival or anything where a lot of people are gathering. There are clear themes and trends that are appearing. I'm sure there are probably, you know, other professional, like mountain bikers based on skill or whatever, that also have that problem. But it's very kind of baffling when you have like a clear indicator of what's truly making an impact, and it can be measured and everything. And yet there's just kind of this disbelief. And so people will invest very large amounts of money into things that just have like zero impact. And it's something, yeah, again, probably happening in a lot of other industries. And I'm going to bring up, obviously, golf, because I spend a lot of time kind of absorbed in it nowadays. But there are just so many golf brands, like putting in, you know, effort and budget into areas of like golf content creation. Yeah, it seems like they very much more embrace it and they see value in it. But it's just, you're not seeing that at all in cycling and mountain biking. And I don't know, I don't get it. We'll draw a line under that. I don't get it. I've also had friends, people that I used to have friends, they just stopped talking to me because of what I do now. And that kind of that was really strange. It's like, wait a minute, so we were friends when we biked, and now I just do this for a living. Now you don't want to talk to me. And that really was the reason. And it's like, that was really weird to deal with, because I think a lot of it is that I've never like tried to portray myself as anyone that I wasn't. It's not like I tried to portray myself as this incredible mountain biker with loads of skill. Do you know what I mean? Like, I left things in like look at the Enduro World Series video, right? When it was raining, and I'm walking down a bunch of stuff, and I'm throwing my bike down things because I didn't want to ride them and I couldn't figure out another way of doing it. I put all that in the video. I could have left all that out. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on in the world where people don't like other people succeeding, or they can't be happy for them. It's more like, oh, well, they're doing that, I'm going to try and bring them down to my level or whatever. And that sucks. It really just sucks. I mean, I know that's just a proponent of human beings, but again, just in mountain biking, it just seems to be more there than other hobbies and interests, right? And other sports. Could be wrong, but that's the experience I've had. And then kind of like what I was talking about on that last ride down in Sedona, like this culture of send it and you've got it. When people really don't, and I just can't, I don't want to be associated with like the risks of everything. And you know, you can think however you wish. It's your thought to have, right? But you know, mountain biking is a dangerous sport, and anything could happen. Like, I mean, you've got people like this. I mean, the first person that comes into my brain is Geordie Lunn. When he passed away, I think it was the Blue Trail. And he's literally done some of the craziest things that you've ever seen on a mountain bike. Like, anything could happen. And for me, it's just like, I don't understand what you get out of it anymore. I just don't get it. Like, I see, you know, people having massive crashes and life-threatening injuries, and then they'll come back and do mountain biking. And I get it. It's because you love it and you love doing it. For me personally, like, again, this is very much a video about me. I'm sorry. I don't see where the value is. I think there are things far more important in life than, you know, mountain biking can be very selfish at times. Losing an arm, not being able to walk, losing your life. I just don't. I've been pretty like consequence averse, let's say that. You know, there are many things that I walk away from or I don't do, but you know, I could always appreciate the other side of it, the people that do it. And yes, I understand that there's probably a lot of people watching, you know, that have started mountain biking because of me. And I hope you're getting a lot of enjoyment from it. Like, you know, if you found something that you really enjoy, then I'd truly be happy for you. But the culture and the mentality of, you know, you must push yourself to, you know, push through the boundaries of physical and everything, even if it means that you could have a traumatic brain injury, like, it's just something, it's not a world that I want to be a part of anymore. And also, it's a sport that seems to kind of breed a culture of looking down on each other. And I am 1,000% guilty of doing that. You know, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, act like I'm holier than thou. You know, be it like, okay, you know, if someone's better than someone else, or, you know, there could also be like a bike thing, but there's probably not as much as people think, but very much the skill part of it. You know, you can't just go ride with anyone. You know, there's a lot of like, yeah, I'm actually much better than this other person, so I'm not going to ride with them because it'll slow me down. Okay. Or there's even the part of the other way where, oh yeah, I'm not good enough to go riding with that person, so there's no way that we can do it together. So then it's kind of creating, you know, this tier system, right? It's like this level system, and the only way that you can socialize with someone else doing the activity is you've got to be as good at them. as good as they are. And, there are, again, you might disagree with that. You might not think that that's what happens. And, you can go and ride with anyone. But this is just like, in my experience and my perception, I don't think that's right. Like, look at, for example, let's take something like golf or whatever. You can go out and do it. You can go and do it with anyone of any ability. It doesn't matter because it's not going to impact you. But with mountain biking specifically, I mean, road riding, it would be much simpler, right? You could just go out and do loops, not anything like that. But by having this difficulty of trails, it's like you can't all enjoy it together. Even if you're going in a big group and you go to a bike park or something, it's like, hey, we're going to ride this double black now. Everyone has to come along. And there will be someone that it's like, I don't want to do that. But the power of the crowd will, make them feel like they have to. I've definitely been in that. I'm sure others have. I'm sure people have orchestrated it without even knowing or intending to have it. And then again, that's where accidents happen, and that's where people can get really damaged. I loved having a goal to work towards. Sure, I was not a fast mountain biker. I am not the most fit. I am not the most strong, but I loved having the goal of like BC Bike Race or the Enduro World Series race or whatever, like a challenge. I loved working towards it. But when I had those taken away, like during the pandemic time, there was nothing to work for. And when I made my own goals, like that stupid one of trying to ride every blue trail in a week, like I did enjoy doing that. But if it's like, hey, tomorrow, do you want to drop everything that you're doing and go mountain biking? That just really didn't happen. It was almost like I'd feel bad if I didn't go mountain biking. It's like, oh, well, I've got to go mountain biking. Even before I started doing YouTube as well. And then you only kind of realize this when you find something that, oh my God, I would do anything to go and do that sport right now. I can just stop what I'm doing and go and do it. I'll do it 7 days in a row. It's amazing. I did get that perspective. And that's when I kind of realized, it's like, well, if I'm being honest with myself, I just don't want to go. I just don't want to go and do it. If you've made it to this point, it's because, you watch my videos for a very long time. You probably watched all of them. I'm really grateful. I truly am that people have enjoyed the things that I've done, even though I felt like I was a piece of shit doing them. There's a few possible avenues in the future, but it's going to be about making videos. Not being in front of them. And I'm going to go and play a lot of golf. And I'm going to go hiking. And I like going to the gym. And I'm actually taller now because I'm not bunched over. I've grown like half an inch or something. My body just feels a lot better. So perhaps that's body telling me, that's the sign as well. But if you enjoy mountain biking and, it's a real positive impact in your life, then I'm glad. I'm glad that you've got that. But it just became not that for me. And that's why I've stopped. So cheers.